But what happened here is that the towels just got a little smaller. So you got to be looking at the square footage of them. So we went from 43.6 square feet to 39.5 square feet. So you might be looking at that and think that there is not shrinkflation on the towels, but oh yes, they snuck it in. They found a way. Next up, and this is the one I really despise. This sickens me. I do try and watch what I eat here, and what we got going on in this smart balance here is it's more shrinkflation. And what we're looking at here is this was buttery spread that was made with 39% vegetable oil. And over here, they've changed their buttery spread ratio to 64% vegetable oil. Good evening or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for turning on my channel. This is Psycho Silver. We're studying psychology. We're studying silver. Silver is the best money. It's the only money. It's the real money. There's only one real money, and that is silver. We're going to look at some world financial news. We're going to study a little bit of global politics. We're going to get into some conspiracy, my favorite. And wherever we get the opportunity, we're going to look at things that make us a better person. So I'm just doing whatever I want on this channel, but I bet you're going to enjoy the ride. You're going to like it. I promise. It'll be cool. One of the things that we will continuously do on this channel is we are going to study the silver markets and the gold markets from around the world. We're going to study them, and we're going to keep a very close eye on what's going on. There's the COMEX vault that's being drained of all its gold and silver. And then there's the LBMA vault in London, also being drained of all the gold and silver. Oh yeah, and platinum too. So we have precious metals disappearing from the biggest vaults around the world. And the metal that is not disappearing is being bought up, and it's getting some private ownership, and it's not for sale anymore, at least not at these prices. So since it is a weekend, we have no updates on how those vaults are looking, but we're going to be checking on that every day. And I'm sure even on the weekends, plenty of things are going to come up for us to discuss all about that. For example, if you did not watch the show yesterday, there was news on the Friday of an unprecedented, a huge event in the COMEX vault where 1/3 of all the available platinum was bought up. Incredible. Over 40,000 tons of platinum. Excuse me, that wasn't tons. 40,000 ounces of platinum all bought up. And of course, we don't get the news. We don't get the information, should I say, of who made that purchase. But it's damn fucking interesting. Big red flag. There's big things going on. We're discussing the crash that we're in the crash, but we will be accelerating. And so why don't we just jump into the news, and we're gonna get into all the things that we want to cover tonight. I got a bunch of slides, a bunch of web pages. We're gonna check it all out and have a good time. So join me. Let's get in here. First up tonight, I came across some very interesting news here. Here's a tweet from Wall Street Silver. Wall Street Silver says something strange is happening in China. All tickets sold by the high-speed rail are suspended, and the rail is completely stopped until further notice. And then I see below this, Beijing cancels over 6,000 domestic flights. International flights suspend rail services. Reason not yet known. My first reaction to seeing this, was we did see similar news recently with Russia that is putting travel restrictions upon all its men that are of fighting age. Very scary. Also a big red flag. What else could that mean? And so that's one of those things that I assume if you did know about that, we're all hoping for the best, but that's a very ominous sign. And here we go, another ominous sign coming out of China. But we won't just stop right there. That's not very much information. I miss the days when Google worked, because Google does not work anymore. Google is terrible for information. You can't find anything. It's mostly advertisements. And then when you ask like any kind of controversial question, every time you get web pages that are years and years old, you get answers to questions you weren't asking. Google is getting worse and worse. You're better off going to Reddit and asking a question. You're better off going to Twitter and asking a question. You're better off asking a question to YouTube. And it's still not even that great, but Google is the worst. It used to work wonderfully. I'm sure many of you aren't even old enough to remember when Google actually worked. But at one point it was a dream, and you would get exactly the answer you were looking for. It would match your question and it would make sense and it would be a good answer. But what I suspect is they stopped liking the good answer, and now they give us the answer that they want us to have, and it's really good. But let's scroll Twitter a little bit and see if we can find any other evidence of this alleged there's weird thing going on in China. I say alleged because over here it says Xi Jinping house arrest. Latest news today. Interesting. Here we got a tweet from a woman named Jennifer Zhang. PLA military vehicles headed to Beijing on September 22nd. Okay, let's look at this video here. Xi Jinping was under arrest after CCP seniors removed him from head of PLA. Okay. What do we got here? Let's look at this video. All right, well, we got some sort of column of tanks that can be from anywhere in the world. Who knows if that's actually China? And who knows if this person's telling the truth? Here we have Jack Pasabic. According to Jack, Xi Jinping just had multiple senior CCP officials sentenced to death who opposed him. Lots of people falling for the CIA gray propaganda that he was arrested. Be smart. Well, I haven't seen any evidence yet. Here we have Jack trolling that Putin and Saddam all share a cell together in Gitmo with Osama. And he's joking. Are people actually buying the obvious CIA propaganda that Xi Jinping was arrested? No, I'm not. But I've seen this rumor quite a bit. Let's see. Here's a tweet with some... Lost it. Hang on. Let's bring that back. I was looking to see if any of these tweets had any traction. And obviously not. But we will keep an eye on that. Here's this random Twitter account naming a likely successor to Xi Jinping, General Li. One thing I do know about the movies is if you do see the head of the military, a military general, assuming the role of prime minister or president, they're taking charge. That's bad news. War is definitely coming when you see one of the generals stage a coup against the president. You know that war is coming. But we'll keep an eye out on this. I wonder how that story got so big. It really did. It was showing up in quite a few places, but I'm not ready to believe this yet. However, interesting, because we were supposed to see some sort of event today. It's the 24th. Many people calling for global events that are going to be disruptive and very big in scope. I thought it was possible, but we're already almost to the 25th and we've seen nothing major yet. Onward. Here we have a funny post from Wall Street Bets. They're joking that it feels like 2008 all over again. And they did capture this scene from a football broadcast, and I got a kick out of it. Let's have a listen here.
High snap, kick up, kick, good! And the Red Raiders celebration can begin. It's 2008 all over again, a crazy game here in Lubbock, 37-34 the final.
Well, that'll be a pretty funny meme as the year goes on if we do see the carnage in financial markets that many are expecting. That'll be a good meme. I'll have to say that, and we'll come back and revisit that. Let us hope not, but the signs are not looking good. Here on Twitter, we had an interesting post and video, and this is Representative Donald's. He drops an Econ 101 truth hammer. It's a hearing on corporate influence on inflation, and this is a 2-minute video, and we'll go ahead and give it a play since it's C-SPAN, right? Let's have a quick look at this video here. Listen in.
Go down the pathway of providing dollars to people, and they don't have to exchange labor, which is the way our economy functions, for money to pay for their goods and services. Do you think that leads to a labor shortage, yes or no?
Like I said, I believe we're experiencing a shortage of good jobs, not a shortage of labor. And I think it's really critical not to blame working people for
I'm not
higher
blaming
prices.
working people. What I would say is I'm blaming government policy. Because if you're given money without having to exchange it with labor, having to take your talents and abilities, and you're getting money as a result, it depends on the industriousness of the individual at that point. I'm not blaming anybody. If you're giving out free money, shoot, okay, cool. Most people are just gonna go ahead and take it. We know this, but if you have a legitimate economic choice to make at your kitchen table, I can go work 40 hours or I can go work 20 hours and our living does not change. People have their own decision to make about what they're going to do. The point I'm making is that labor shortage, which was created by the quote-unquote American Rescue Plan, led to a labor shortage. And that labor shortage has led to price increases because you had people who had the revenue and the disposable cash flow to buy goods, but not enough goods in circulation to purchase. Mr. Goodspeed, is that an accurate assessment of what's happened in America since Joe Biden became president of the United States?
Yes, I think that's a fair description.
So, let's establish a couple things. Are prices up? Yes, they are. Electricity prices are up. Good prices are up. The only reason why gasoline prices are down is because the president's been basically buying down the price with releases from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which, by the way, that's coming to an end as well. We are in a recession. I think we've covered a lot here. Look, I understand the majority party's desire to try to put this on corporate America for raising prices. But if you do not have enough workers working, there's not enough goods produced. If there's not enough goods produced, but everybody still has money to go buy goods, the price of each unit actually goes up. That's how inflation is always created. More policies of the same is only going to lead us further down the road to perdition, which we are already on. With that, I yield back.
One thing that I want to point this out, because I think a lot of people still don't know this. Even people that I would suspect do know this, do not know this. So a really important point Mr. Donalds brought up is that the reason that energy has gone down is because we did tap the reserves. And long story short, there's giant oil reserves that America keeps. They call them the strategic reserves, and they contain quite a bit of oil. And President Biden did tap into those reserves, and he's using them to both supply and to sell into the markets. And that's why the prices have come down. There's not been an actual realignment in the market of energy. In fact, the market of energy is worse, but the prices did come down because we tapped those reserves. A very important distinction. And this was a good video because, you know, people without a really strong base of economics can really understand what he said there. When you give all this money out, there's unintended consequences, and inflation is one of them. People are much more judicious with money that they did earn. And also, when you flood an economy with money that people did not earn, they tend to go out and purchase different things with that money, or maybe purchase it all at the same time. And you do indeed get inflation. That's one of the ways you get inflation. And I just, last point is, I often wonder, I suspect that a lot of these politicians, they must be able to think, you know, several moves ahead and understand that these decisions are detrimental, that they're creating chaos in the markets, but they use these emotional arguments. And I just wonder, there's got to be a good percentage of them that only understand the emotional argument. They cannot understand the 3 and 5 moves ahead that it takes to be a good steward of an economy. Some of them, I really do think they lack the mental capacity, or it's just they're grounded so largely in their emotions that they're unable to see past the immediate reasons or the immediate gratification of handing out money, and they can't think a few steps ahead. I'm wondering about that, but it's fucking crazy either way. It's crazy. You know, just the fact that these discussions that they have in Washington are so childish is pretty interesting unto itself. Onward. Next thing up I got for you here. If you never knew about this Reddit, I suggest that you check it out. It's one of my favorites. We're going to check in on this Reddit from time to time because it's really great. This is the Shrinkflation Reddit. When product sizes shrink, but prices stay the same. And we've all seen it. The boxes of cereal getting smaller, the cups of yogurt getting smaller. Pretty much everything with the economy in the condition that it is in, pretty much everything is getting a little smaller here and there, and the price going up a little more. So they're finding all these ways to cut corners. And if you do have a look at this Reddit, you're going to find some really interesting stuff. And I got a few pictures from there that I want to show you. First up, we got this. So this is like the traditional, or should I say the more obvious kind of shrinkflation you see. This is Campbell's Chunky Soup. It was 500. Let's see, you can see that a little better. Over here, it was 540 milliliters. And now, let's see if I can get myself off the screen. It was 540 milliliters. 540 milliliters. And now it's 515. And so that is like the normal type of shrinkflation that you see and know about, that everyone can kind of understand. But in these next few examples I'm going to show you, it gets a little devious. I thought this one here was pretty freaking interesting. How about that? So you got shrinkflation here occurring. I still can't be on the, okay. They're pint glasses. It's a pint. Pint glasses. Pint glasses. But look at that. Approximately 430 milliliters each. That's fucking funny. God damn it. That's hilarious. The pint glasses are no longer a pint. They're 430 milliliters. That's the funniest. I hope you can appreciate that as much as I do. That is just fucking something else. Next thing. So here's another devious form. This is devious shrinkflation right here. You have 2 rolls of paper towels, okay? And they both say 55 towels. But what happened here is that the towels just got a little smaller. So you got to be looking at the square footage of them. So we went from 43.6 square feet to 39.5 square feet. So you might be looking at that and think that there is not shrinkflation on the towels, but oh yes, they snuck it in. They found a way. Next up, and this is the one I really despise. This sickens me. I do try and watch what I eat here, and what we got going on in this smart balance here is it's more shrinkflation, and what we're looking at here is this was buttery spread that was made with 39% vegetable oil. And over here, they've changed their buttery spread ratio to 64% vegetable oil. So they put a bunch more. Oh, look, you got omega-3. It's healthier. It's healthier. I've evolved quite a bit in my belief on these seed oils and these oils in general. I am avoiding oils, all kinds of oils, except for fat from animals. I'm avoiding them more and more. I do not trust these things. I do not trust the quality of the materials that they're making these oils with. It's most likely seeds, and they're probably all types of GMO. But there you have it, an increase in the vegetable oil, and that is another important kind of shrinkflation for you to understand. Okay, on to another topic here. One of the reoccurring themes that we will be talking about on this channel is I do believe that we are witnessing a transition in the global economy, and we're going to see this in our everyday life quite a bit. This is a transition between the fake. It's between the fake and the real, and it's not going to be completely linear. And it's not going to happen in all the ways that we expect, but we're going to find out that real things are more important than fake things. And I do think certain ideas like the metaverse will take hold, and the digital sphere is real, and we will continue to live in that space more and more, and it's going to count. But there's another reality at play here. And one of the realities is the reality of money, and more specifically, the reality of value. So it's all fine and good. We build the metasphere, and we all live in the metaverse. But in the end, to power these things, we need metal, we need energy, and those things can't be built in the metaverse for the metaverse. They will have to be built in the real way, in the real world, and used to create the metaverse. And I say all this to get to my my real point here. There is major pushback against the US, and specifically the dollar system, which has been very destructive and very unfair to many countries. And maybe part of growing up and the male masculine energy is that maybe we kind of had to fuck these other countries before they fucked us first, right? It's a cold world out there. But we've had these other countries under our power because of the dollar. They're all forced to buy dollars to settle their debts and to buy energy. And all these loans are made in dollars. And the thing of it is the dollar is better than their currency very often. But who wants to be beholden to another man? Who wants to be under the power of another country? That's not anyone, really. And so while they do reluctantly use the dollar to create and settle debt, You know, they're saying, I don't want to live under this. I don't want to live under this Western banking cartel my entire life. And that's how we did get the BRICS nation. They're consolidating. The BRICS nations consist of Brazil, Russia, China, Iran, India, and South America. And what they have in common with one another is they've been kind of on the outside. The European countries, all the Western powers that you know and love and are used to, they consolidated power for themselves and they share it with their friends. And all these other countries are either completely left out or they're just kind of on the outside and they don't get the good deals. They don't get as good of a deal. And they know it. So they're joining forces. And that's how we created the BRICS. And the BRICS are growing. And what's interesting about the BRICS is that they're very rich in natural resources. And that's going to be very important. That is going to come into play shortly. We're already seeing it with Russia cutting off Europe from its supply of natural gas and oil. We are probably headed for a crisis in Europe, particularly Germany, with a shortage of fuel. But I said all this to show you this article. This is fucking interesting. This is paradigm shifting. What I'm going to show you here, if you didn't already know it, there's probably, I bet very few of you knew this, because the world is so crazy right now that there's really big shit going on and you didn't even know it. This is huge. What we have here is Argentina formally requests China to join BRICS. Argentina wants to be a part of the BRIC nation. What does it mean? Why is it important? Because Argentina is extremely resource rich. They are closer to us than they are to China. I mean, we're connected by landmass. Latin America has kind of been the territory of America in one sense or another for quite a while. But Argentina, again, on the outside looking in, and they want to join forces with Russia, India, China. And I'm yet to figure out the deal, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. What is the deal with South Africa? We're going to learn about that. But let's dig into this article just a little bit here. Okay. The Argentine ambassador to China announced Wednesday last week, Fernandez sent a missive to his Chinese counterpart who holds the poor temper presidency of BRICS to formally request Argentina's inclusion in the bloc of emerging countries comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Let's read this here. For us, the group is an excellent alternative for cooperation in the face of a world order that has proven to be created by and for the benefit of a few. Yes, that is what I said. That is what they understand. Right now, the world order, serves the Western banking cartel and not much else. And the worst part of it is that it's a fake money paradigm. And Argentina is rich in real resources. So you give us real resources and we'll give you digits in a bank account. We'll give you dollars that we make. We just make them. And, you give us your stuff, your good stuff. Let me show you this real quick. So what does Argentina make? Well, I'm not going to do we can do a lot of research another time, but here's a short little paragraph right here. This is the big one. Let's get this nice and big. You need to see this. This is fucking important. Natural resources. Argentina boasts rich oil and gas, mineral and agricultural resources. The country's state oil firm, YPF, has partnered with global majors to extract oil and gas, both offshore and onshore. From the Vaca Muerta shale play, Argentina has South America's third largest natural gas reserves. Argentina also imports gas from Bolivia to meet its domestic needs, particularly in winter. Okay, here's the big point, in my opinion. In addition, the country has rich mineral deposits of zinc, lead, iron, uranium, manganese, tin, silver, copper, tungsten, as well as salt deposits and a significant supply of marble, clay, limestone, granite. Big stuff. They're a leader in world food production and boasts a major livestock and agricultural industries. This is the future right here. This is the future. It's real stuff. Particularly if we continue along with the population boom, it becomes all about real resources, okay? And Argentina joining the BRICS nation, I mean, I don't want to use like too powerful a language, but we are getting set up in it's like a bipolar or multipolar world. And it does make the possibility of war more palpable, okay? America has a reputation for either overtly or covertly finding ways to control resources. And who knows how this can end up. Let me just make this point. Okay? Let's get serious here. If Russia or China did to America what we've done to them, what would happen right here is either Russia or China, they would partner up with Argentina. Argentina already wants to be their partner, okay? And they would say, yes, sell us your food, sell us your gas, your oil, your beautiful precious metals, your industrial metals, your rare earth minerals. Sell it all to us. We're going to trade. But listen here. We're sending a ship over and we're supplying you with our best weapons because we don't want these fucking Americans fucking with you. So here, take these missiles, take this missile defense system. Take these warships. Let us set up a military base. What would happen if Russia or China was setting up a military base in Argentina? That's what we've basically done to Russia, and we've encroached and encroached. I'm not taking sides. I like America better than Russia. Never been in Russia, but it's something to think about. And if we do see our power wane and continue to wane, and the internal conflict get out of hand, and we just become weakened as a nation, then we could have fucking nuclear weapons at our doorstep, just like what's normal for them over there, right? Because that's what is Taiwan to China. That's what Japan is to China. That's what Ukraine is and was to Russia. Ever encroaching weapons of great strength. Interesting shit. We're gonna check in on this again. This is so interesting. Onward. One thing I did want to point out here, and let's hope this doesn't crash on me. Don't crash on me, please. One thing I wanted to point out. This is cool, okay? What we have here is the world map, and there's Argentina. And I'm sure a lot of you don't know where it was. I had to double check myself, okay? But what can we observe about Argentina? Well, they are very close to South Africa. That is an interesting observation. That is interesting to me. Are they the southernmost landmass in the world? Quite possibly. What is the significance, the strategic significance of having the southernmost landmass in the world? Could mean something. Could be something. It's probably nothing. It's probably nothing. What do you think? Okay. But here's where it gets even better than that. This is crazy. This is top secret shit right here. We're 35 minutes in. And here's the juicy part. Here's where it gets good. You see that? What is that called? There's a word for that. I wish I knew the word. What is the word for a landmass that pokes out like that? Let's zoom in here. We have a place called the Machu Picchu base. What is that? Let's see if we can get nice and close. Come on, Google, give me some info. We're trying to get some names here because I have something to show you. Look, there's a Trinity Island. James Ross. Be good to me, Google. I want to make an interesting point. Ooh, Google's not going to help me out. Okay, I'm going to have to kill the suspense a little bit. But let me just type it in and I'll just show you. Did you see what I typed there? Let's go, maps. Bring it up. You know what I want. You know what I want, baby. Let's see it. Interesting. There's another one somewhere in here called the Rockefeller Island. And they say it is fabled. Down in this area here is all kinds of interesting stuff. Another show, another time. We're not going to go that far down the conspiracy rabbit hole. Not now, maybe later. We'll move on to the next thing. Enough said. I'm going to close this tab because it's probably eating so much freaking RAM. Oh, okay. On to a little comedy. Now that we saw something spooky and interesting, let's have a little comedy time. This is hilarious. What a joke. Okay. This is according to the Epoch Times. Nothing against the Epoch Times. But according to the Epoch Times, meaningful penalties. A bill banning members of Congress and SCOTUS from trading stocks. The bill's taking shape, guys. They're really going to do it this time. They're really going to do it. This is September 24th. That's today. They're talking like they mean it. Long anticipated legislation that would ban lawmakers and other senior government officials from trading stocks get a boost on Thursday as House Democrats released a legislative framework that seeks to close the loopholes, cut conflicts of interest, and make penalties for non-compliance more painful. That is a lot of beautiful language. That's beautiful language. These people must really care. They want to keep it nice and clean. Make sure there's no funny business going on there in Washington. Oh my God. What a joke. What a joke. You know why they do this, right? They're doing this now. So in early November, they're going to say, look what we did. We're the good guys. We're the good guys. We really did it. There's no more insider trading. Look at our bill. We're fucking awesome, guys. And then by November 10th, it never happened. They'll just continue doing it like they always do. But that's just some comedy. Okay, onward. We're already we're almost 40 minutes. So let's get serious and finish out these slides and call it a night. I did want to show you this quick come on, baby. I did want to show you this quick little poll here. It's unanimous. It's unanimous. All voters, every voter everywhere. And I don't even believe these strongly opposed. They don't exist. They're not real. Like, they're old people pushing the wrong button on the survey or something. This is a poll saying who would support or oppose a ban on stock trading for members of Congress. Who's sitting there and saying, no, I do not support that. But there you go. It's pretty much highly skewed to one side. And I do think that anyone that's here in the red just pushed the wrong. It's everybody. Why wouldn't we ban members of Congress from trading stock and their family? And that's the next question that I have. If I wanted to scrutinize this alleged bill, I would say yes, them, but I want to have a look at their family too. Yeah. Let's see all those nieces and brothers and sisters. That's the ones they never tell you about. There's so many of these politicians. You've never even heard the name of their family. And they're the ones making the biggest trades. Marvin Bush, anyone? Ever heard of Marvin Bush? Onward. I thought this was pretty funny. The Pelosi Index. The growth of $100 invested in Pelosi's portfolio versus the S&P 500. So the growth of $100, you'd have 196 if you invested as Pelosi, and you would have 173 if you invested as the S&P 500, and this is since 2019. Okay, so this is significant. It's tough to beat the S&P. Doesn't happen on the whole. So this is not a huge time frame. And that might not look like a significant difference to you, but I'm telling you, statistically, that's a big freaking difference. People would go to the edge of earth for that kind of performance over the S&P 500. Because first you'd be making your clients a whole lot of money, but then you could just advertise that. You could advertise that for the rest of your life. Beating the S&P by that much for that long is a big freaking deal. You're going to sell a lot of subscriptions. You're going to get a lot of consulting, and you'll get some people that want you to take care of their money for them too. Big deal. We got that one. We're getting close to the end here. I did want to cover the Great Marty's tweet. What have we learned since 2008? Mortgage debts have increased by 4 trillion, national debt by 22 trillion versus 8 trillion in 2008. CPI sits at 8.5 versus 3.8. Mortgage, 30-year mortgage is 6.3 is the same it is in 2008. Higher yields in 2022, servicing trillions more in debt. Very important. The debt's so big, the interest on a larger amount of debt is also bigger. It's tougher to carry. The interest on a small loan is not as much of a burden as the interest on a big loan. And you can see that in the payments for your house or for your car. If you buy a car that you can barely afford and you have a variable interest on that, when that interest rate goes up, you might not be able to afford it anymore. It's a larger dollar amount, and the percentage is the same. But what you actually end up paying is significantly more. And I hope you understand that. And if you don't understand what I just said there, you shouldn't be taking out loans. Here we go. This is from Wall Street Bets. What we have here is a chart. Federal Reserve is now playing a dangerous game of catch runaway inflation. This blue line right here is your inflation. This orange line here is your effective rate. That is your interest rate, the Fed funds interest rate. And we did look at that in last night's show. And what you need to know about the interest rate, the Fed funds rate, is that it can handle inflation. It can get it under control. Why? Because if you have a car payment, okay, a variable rate car payment, and interest rates are going up, well, now you got to pay a higher payment on your car, and you don't have that money left over to go and buy things with. And when you can't buy things, there's other people can't buy them too, because they're going through the same problem, and therefore prices fall. And that is how they soak up money out of the economy, is they raise the interest rates so there's not as much free cash floating around to go and push up the prices on things. I hope that makes sense. We're going to keep talking about that. But here's the problem. People don't save. They spend every last penny they have. And when these interest rates do go up, they can't afford it. There's too much debt. And it's not just people, it's entire businesses. There's businesses that you see on the stock market that look like they're doing amazing because every year the stock price goes up, and they tell you about the revenue, but the profits aren't there. And so they survive by continuing to borrow. And when these Fed rates go up, all the other interest rates go up. And there can come a time where they're insolvent. They don't have the money. They don't have the actual profit. So you see it on both ends. You see it as the individual, and you do see it as these big corporations too, even the banks, believe it or not. The amazing thing about banks is it's the only business in the world where you get to create money out of thin air, and they still go bankrupt. And they still need to be bailed out. It's incredible. But yes, as the effective rate, the Fed fund rate goes up, the money supply shrinks. And when the money supply shrinks, more people default on the debt. And the debt has never been bigger than it is right now. So we're in a serious fucking situation. I hope you understand that. Onward. We're almost at the end here. Oh, we are at the end. Let's see if I had another good slide for you. Nope, that was it. Oh, there we go. That's where we end there. Oh, man. Look, everyone, the dollar is going up. Yeah, look how high it is. Do buy yourself some silver and some gold. I highly recommend it. Okay, let's wrap this show up. We're going to continue to keep an eye on the precious metals. We're going to keep an eye on the BRICS. We're going to keep an eye on Saudi Arabia, because where they go, the energy goes. And that is very important. Energy is very much the key to everything. Right now, energy is spiking in Europe in a very significant way. And that also causes bankruptcies. Let us hope that does not cascade to America, because that would be very disastrous. And with that, I do appreciate you watching my channel. If you made it all 48 minutes of this, thank you. I appreciate you. You're a fucking stud. And I hope you learned something. And I enjoyed making this show for you. And I'm going to make many other shows for you. And we're going to get better and better. And we're going to learn a lot. And we're going to do our best to become better people, to understand the world that we live in. When they say money and money is power, you can take that different ways. It's not just having money that's power. It's also what the type of money is. Who issues the money? The money is the power. Not the amount of money that you have, but the creation of the money. And who gets those privileges? Who has the power? Similarly, when they say money is the root of all evil, it's not just the lack of or the possession of money that's the root of all evil. It depends greatly upon where that money comes from, how it's created. What is the nature of that money? Is it silver? Is the money silver, or is it digital ones and zeros on a screen in the matrix being manipulated by who? And what do they move us to next? The digital currency? Spend it now or lose it forever. Oh, I see you bought too much. You bought too much butter with your money. We're giving you next. We're giving you less next time. You're only allowed 3 ounces of butter a week. You're killing the planet. It's coming if we don't do something about it. I do appreciate you, and you have a wonderful evening. Good night.